Did you see our DoorDash driver? He's like ancient. How is that even legal? The comment floated across the apartment lobby of the Meridian, a luxury high-rise in Arlington, Virginia, casual and cruel in the way only privilege allows. He heard every word. He'd been doing DoorDash for 18 months now. Part-time, evenings and weekends, 20 hours a week. His pension as a retired Army colonel and former chief of surgery at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center was comfortable, more than comfortable, actually. His house in McLean was paid off. His daughter lived in Boston, called every Sunday, sent pictures of the grandchildren. He didn't need the money, but he needed the purpose, the motion, the brief human connections that came with handing someone their dinner and seeing them smile. After his wife Margaret had died from pancreatic cancer 2 years ago, the silence of the house had become unbearable. He'd tried golf, tried reading, tried all the things retired people were supposed to do, but none of it felt like living. None of it felt like service. DoorDash was simple. Pick up food, navigate to an address, drop it off, smile, maybe exchange a few words, stay busy, stay useful, stay alive in the ways that mattered. But the three young, it's kind of sad. Like I'm already maxing out my 401k. No way I'm delivering food when I'm old. That's what happens when you don't plan. Sam's hands, steady hands, that had once performed emergency surgery while mortars fell around a MASH tent in Iraq, that had sutured arteries under fire in Afghanistan, that had saved countless lives in circumstances these kids couldn't imagine, gripped his car keys a little tighter. He could stop. Turn around. Tell them exactly who he was, what he'd done, why their assumptions were so painfully wrong. But he didn't. Only with actions. Only when they needed something desperately and discovered who was really there to save them. He watched toward the exit, his pace measured, his gait showing the arthritis that came from years standing in surgery, from old injuries earned in war zones. Even walks slow, he heard Tyler mutter. Sam pushed through the glass doors into the parking lot. But he didn't get in his car yet. Because something felt wrong. His instincts honed over thousands of medical emergencies, over situations where seconds meant the difference between life and death were tingling. A subtle wrongness he couldn't quite name. He turned back toward the lobby. And that's when Jason collapsed. 20 minutes earlier, Sam had been at Faux 75 picking up Tyler's order. The restaurant, at 69, he didn't take risks on the road. He'd seen too many trauma cases from car accidents. The Meridian was one of the newer luxury buildings in Arlington. 20 stories of glass and steel. Monthly rent starting at $3,000 for a studio. The kind of place where young professionals with more money than wisdom congregated. Sam had delivered here dozens of times. The residents were usually polite, sometimes generous with tips, occasionally dismissive. He didn't mind. He wasn't doing this for validation. He'd parked in the visitor spots, grabbed the DoorDash bag, walked into the lobby. The concierge desk was unstaffed, budget cuts, probably, so he'd gone straight to the elevator, 4th floor. Apartment 4B. Tyler had left instructions. Just leave at door, don't knock, my dog barks. Sam had placed the bag carefully by the door, taken the required photo for the app, marked the delivery complete. Tyler's apartment door had opened while Sam was still in the hallway. Oh, you're still here. Tyler looked surprised, vaguely annoyed. I said leave it at the door. Just making sure you got it, sir, Sam had said politely. Tyler had grabbed the bag without a thank you, started to close the door, then paused. Hey, quick question. Why's it cold? I ordered like 20 minutes ago. Sam had checked his phone. The restaurant took 15 minutes to prepare it, sir. I drove straight here once I picked it up. Whatever. Tyler had closed the door. Sam had walked back to the elevator, back through the lobby where 3 young people now sat on the modern furniture, and that's when he'd heard the comment about his age. Sam was 10 feet from his car when he heard the thud. His head snapped around. Through the lobby's glass walls, he saw Jason on the floor. Emma screaming, Tyler frozen with his phone out. Sam's mind went immediately into trauma mode. He dropped his keys, sprinted as fast as his 69-year-old legs could move back toward the building. By the time he burst through the doors, Emma was on her phone with 911. Tyler was shouting Jason's name, and Jason was convulsing on the marble floor. Move! Sam's voice had the command of someone who'd run operating rooms in MASH units. The kind of authority that made people obey without thinking. Tyler backed up, startled. What are you? Sam was already kneeling beside Jason, fingers on his neck checking for a pulse. Weak, thready, skin pale and clammy, lips slightly blue. Pulmonary embolism, Sam said immediately. How long has he been complaining of leg pain? Emma, still on with 911, stared at him. What? Leg pain. Sam's hands were checking Jason's legs, finding the swelling in the left calf. Has he been on any long flights recently? Extended car rides? He flew back from San Francisco yesterday, Tyler stammered. 10-hour flight. But what does? Sit him up, now. Sam was already moving Jason into position, supporting his weight with practiced ease. He's got a blood clot in his lung. If we lay him flat, it could move to his heart and kill him. Emma's voice shook. The 911 operator wants to know what's happening. Tell them suspected massive PE. Patient is conscious but in shock, pulse weak at approximately 100, respiration shallow at 22 per minute, left leg showing DVT symptoms. The medical terminology flowed from Sam as naturally as breathing. Emma repeated it word for word to the operator, who went silent, then asked, Is there a doctor there? Sam met Emma's eyes. Tell them yes. Let me ask you something. Have you ever dismissed someone based on their age or their job? Have you assumed that the person delivering your food, or scanning your groceries, or cleaning your office couldn't possibly be extraordinary? Keep that question in mind. Because what happened next in that lobby taught 3 young people a lesson they'd never forget. The ambulance arrived in 7 minutes. Sam had kept Jason stable the entire time, monitoring his breathing, keeping him positioned correctly, talking to him in the calm voice he'd used with wounded soldiers. You're going to be fine, Sam said quietly. The EMTs are almost here. You're going to be fine. Jason's eyes, wide with fear, locked onto Sam's. I thought I was dying. Not today, Sam said with the confidence of someone who'd pulled countless people back from death. Not on my watch. The EMTs burst through the doors with a gurney and equipment. Their leader, a woman named Rodriguez, took one look at the situation and immediately understood someone who knew what they were doing had been managing it. What have we got? She asked. Samuel Harrison, retired physician, Sam said, his voice clipped and professional. Patient is Jason Mitchell, 28. Massive PE secondary to DVT left leg, likely from recent long-haul flight. Pulse weak and thready, showing signs of shock, respiration compromised. I've kept him upright to prevent clot migration to right ventricle. Rodriguez's eyes widened slightly. You're a doctor? Was, Sam corrected. Retired. Sir, with all respect, you just saved this man's life. She turned to her team. Let's get him loaded. Walter Reed? Best choice for PE, Sam confirmed. As the EMTs worked, Tyler and Emma stood frozen, watching the slow old DoorDash driver direct medical professionals with the ease of someone who'd done it 10,000 times. Tyler found his voice. You're a doctor? Sam stood slowly, his knees protesting. Was. Long time ago. But you deliver food, Emma said, her voice small. I do, Sam said simply, because I choose to. Rodriguez secured Jason to the gurney. Before they left, she turned to Sam. Doctor, I don't know why you're doing DoorDash, but I'm damn glad you were here tonight. She paused. You said your name was Harrison? Samuel Harrison? Sam nodded. Her face changed. As in Colonel Harrison, chief of surgery at Walter Reed? The trauma surgeon from Iraq? Sam said nothing, just met her eyes. Holy shit, Rodriguez whispered. You're a legend. Every EMT in the district knows about you. You wrote half the protocols we use for combat trauma. Tyler and Emma's faces had gone white. That was a long time ago, Sam said quietly. Sir, with respect, it was 8 years ago. You trained half the doctors at Walter Reed. Rodriguez looked at Tyler and Emma. Do you two have any idea who this man is? They shook their heads, mute. This is Colonel Dr. Samuel Harrison, 3 combat tours. Chief of Surgery at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. He's saved more lives than you can count. She gestured at Jason being loaded into the ambulance, including your friends tonight. After the ambulance left, the lobby was silent except for the hum of the air conditioning. Tyler and Emma stood motionless, staring at Sam like they were seeing him for the first time. You were chief of surgery at Walter Reed. Tyler's voice cracked. Until I retired, yes. But you're delivering food, Emma said, and it sounded like a question and an accusation and a plea for this to make sense. I am. Why? The word burst from Tyler. You could be consulting, teaching, making. I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why are you doing DoorDash? Sam looked at them, really looked at them, saw their expensive clothes, their confused faces, their complete inability to understand a worldview that didn't equate worth with income. Because my wife died 2 years ago, Sam said quietly. And sitting in an empty house, even a nice one, felt like dying too. I needed to move, to interact with people, to be useful. DoorDash lets me do that. But you're a surgeon, Emma protested. A colonel. You should be. Should be what? Sam's voice was gentle but firm. Retired? Playing golf? The idea that at a certain age you should just stop being useful, that's the real failure. He picked up his dropped car keys from where they'd fallen. I spent 35 years in operating rooms in battlefield hospitals. I've performed surgery while mortars fell around me. I've held soldiers' hands while they died. I've saved lives in conditions you can't imagine. He met their eyes. And yes, now I deliver pad thai and Chipotle. Because service doesn't end when you retire. It just changes form. Tyler's face crumpled. We said, was our words score our spores first spare her sure. I heard. Water sirs were you were. Were sirs were for stabber. Were sir, for sir. You can be grateful he's alive. And maybe. He paused. Maybe you can look at the next DoorDash driver, or Uber driver, or anyone doing service work, and remember that you don't know their story. You don't know what they've done, or why they're there, or what they're capable of. We will, Emma promised, tears in her eyes. I swear we will, Sam nodded. That's enough. He walked to his car, got in, started the engine, checked the DoorDash app. New order. Vietnamese restaurant. Pick up in 10 minutes. He accepted it and drove away. Jason survived. The embolism was caught in time, treated successfully at Walter Reed. He spent 4 days in the ICU, then 2 weeks recovering. Tyler and Emma visited him every day. On the 3rd day, they told him what had happened. How the DoorDash driver he'd never met had saved his life. How that driver was a legendary surgeon. How they'd all dismissed him as a failure. When Jason was released, the 3 of them tracked down Sam's schedule not hard, given the DoorDash drivers operated in specific zones. They ordered food from restaurants near the Meridian every Friday night for a month, until finally, Sam accepted their delivery. When he arrived at Tyler's apartment, all 3 of them were waiting. Dr. Harrison, Tyler said. We wanted to thank you, properly. They prepared dinner not delivered but cooked themselves, badly but with effort. They'd invited him in. Sam had accepted. Over a meal of slightly burned chicken and overcooked pasta they'd talked. About medicine, about war, about loss and grief and what it meant to keep going. And at the end of the night, Tyler had asked, "What can we do to honor what you did?" Sam had thought for a moment. The next time you see a service worker, anyone, any age, any job, treat them with the respect you'd give me now. Because you don't know their story. You don't know what they've survived, what they've accomplished, why they're there. Everyone deserves dignity, that's all. 3 months later, Tyler quit his startup job to work for a nonprofit providing job training for older workers. Emma started volunteering at the VA hospital. Jason became an advocate for workers' rights in the gig economy. And Sam? He still delivers food. Still accepts orders. Still drives his old Honda. Still knocks on doors and hands people their dinner with a smile. Because Dr. Samuel Harrison learned something in 35 years of saving lives. Service isn't about the uniform you wear or the title you hold. It's about showing up, doing good work, helping when you can. One or suri were two worn hours. Was stirry were first step. First sir were firster were sir were sure were sir were. The driver stuck in traffic might be a hero. The slow old guy might be the reason you're alive. If this story moved you, like this video, Share with gig workers, or anyone who's been judged by their current job. Subscribe for more stories of hidden heroes. For more stories of hidden heroes, comment, have you ever discovered someone's incredible background after judging them?